Don't pretend. Go ahead, break my heart again. Leave me wondering why the hell I ever let you in. Are you the definition of insanity? Oh, and oh, nobody. Heard the song? The audience's reaction was so cool. That felt really good to see them all kind of rooting for me. It didn't press my button. Thought you were going to turn then. I was thinking like really hard about it. I was like, oh my, no, I don't like being really sick. Even though they didn't, it's like we did with the song. That's a shame, that one. This is the biggest thing I've ever done, and I will keep on going. This is not the end. Can you imagine when you first started? Nice one, auditions and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You? I can't believe anyone would have taken you that. Well, they did. No. They did. You're the only one with your voice in the whole world. Maybe it wasn't developed. How did you take it? They didn't know what they did. That's exactly how you're supposed to. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I tried to take. You'll be sorry. Yeah. Well, he didn't remember who it was. He is. Imagine kicking himself. I remember our first demo, we pitched, and we were like, they don't know what they're talking about. Listen to that first demo. It was Alex, do this smile. I've got a really small mouth, so I struggle with smiling, to be honest. And Alex Harry, I'm 27, full-time musician. Lived in Coventry all my life. I live with my mum still, next door to an old people's. So it's always pretty wild, trying to wind it up. Like, I usually play in pubs. I might take it further afield. I don't want to slate comedy. I've either been fired or left a lot of jobs. I worked at Argos, van driving, was a car salesman, literally done some car. I'm trying to do other things. Singing is probably the thing that I'm actually good at. Genuinely. I started singing when I was about 15 or 16. I'm very good though. I had to practice. I've always wanted to sing. I've come to the voice. I don't necessarily want to be just playing the rest of the life. I feel like I've got so much more. I've waited long enough to try something like this. I've only got one shot. I don't know. just wait to we made every mistake for you. It's too hard to be sweet. All the time it makes you go. I love you, but you promise that you make it. You're honest. I'm a mirror, so know it's all before. One, two, three. Hi, what's your name? I'm very sorry.
I got fine, you need a pen. This is a pen, but nothing now.
I got my own pen.
So glad. I was thinking, why is no one pressing the button here? I'm thinking, I've got a button in front of me, why am I not pressing it? Thank you for doing it. It was such a beautiful.
What a load of bloody rubbish.
What?
That fella there, a load of rubbish.
I've been gigging for about 2 years, probably. 31. Usually just pubs, maybe last music, Wonderwall. But I'm hoping to find a way with that. Even though the races. Right now, you're here in front of millions of people singing music, so yeah, it's fantastic. What do you say that? Well, I'm sorry to terrify you. That's up.
Yeah, I was digging it. I thought you were a little bit pitchy in a few places.
Yeah, I agree. No.
But apart from that, it was lovely. You have a lovely sound and different.
Sure.
But I like that. You deserve to be on.
Thank you. Cheers. You have an incredible jingle talent. There's other singers that have like a gentle approach in their voice. Like Radiohead dude has an amazing gentle approach, but it's very dark and heavy music to counter it. I'm so happy that Ollie turned for you. You deserve to be on the show, and I know that your next performance is going to be super stellar. I'm going to try, yeah, for sure. It was.
It took me so long to figure that out, and that's because you made it so you. That's what great artists there, and I can't wait to see more of you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's it.
Hi, virtuals. Yeah, it was a beautiful performance, honestly,
Maybe.
and your voice is gorgeous.
I'm just so happy. I'm shocked. I honestly looked. Well, why no one pressed the button yet? I'm glad I did. He's good. Yeah, I like him. I didn't think anyone was going to turn. All the years of hard work, all the years of gigging paid off. So bring on the battles. Nice guy. He's awesome. I don't want to compare him to Radiohead. But there's something about.
That's a good song choice for the future.
It is, yeah. Don't do Wonderwall.
No.
What do you want me to do Wonderwall?
Look at her face, she's smashing it. Set for life from the National Opera. ITV Entertainment.
And now on ITV, we're proud to present an important message about dads and milk and oats and teenagers. Something like that.
Hey, how's things?
Yeah, not too bad.
Things so crazy at home.
Afraid so, yeah. He has it in his tea. It's coffee, muesli. The other day I caught him drinking from the car.
How old is he now?
55.
Oh, God knows, that's a difficult age.
Yeah.
Where did the plants in the garden come from?
What?
Where did the plants in the garden in the kitchen come from?
Out in the greenhouse because they cannot survive that one in a.
You switch that over.
Cow's milk.
No?
Really?
These are not just names. These are M&S eggs. Always 100% British, always free range, just 90p a day. This isn't just salmon, this is responsibly sourced M&S salmon, always Scottish, just 4 grams a day. We have hundreds of remarkable value food products. Food are eat well, good for you and your budget. It's not just value, this is here to stay every day. Remarkable value from M&S. Some recipes taste better when they're prepared together. Take a bit of happiness, just enough love, a pinch of fun, and finally, a delicious touch. Because Nutella always adds something tasty. Nutella, it's good to be together. They just started walking blue to run. Just by the side of a nation that stands together, where its bank.
We all have different dreams, like going to Mars. Now Nando's is on Deliveroo. Everyone's dream come true. Deliveroo, here to deliver. There's no combat, no resource. Eyes in the conversation. Like these call me in your day. When I'm leading, I'll take no place like an egg.
Nothing but great ones on ITV and ITV Home.
Their face, she's smashing. Set for life from the National Opera. ITV Entertainment. You know, the one thing I wonder about a lot doing this show is I wonder how the singers feel.
Yeah.
I feel for everyone.
I remember that feeling. I
Yeah.
was
This is huge, and just hoping that I don't get too nervous. Just have to hope for the best, but believe in my heart that someone will turn.
I'm Janelle Antonisha. I'm 27 years old. I currently work as a care assistant and I live in Dudley.
It's a hot seat to be in right now, and I'm glad I'm not the one in it. Thank God for that.
I live with my mom. She's my biggest supporter. Yeah, man, just love her.
When I see her out there today, I will be very proud because I know she's come a long way, and as a mother, just hope for the best.
I auditioned for The Voice in 2018. Didn't give my best. I hit a really nasty note. I heard it and I cringed. I was just like, whoa, that sounds awful.
The quality of the instrument was great, but
She had some edge. She had edge to
yeah, edge with no grip at all.
Before I walked when I was really I could have sang it, but for that time it was just, yeah, that was great. In my head, that was it. That was the end. I was never coming back. And I thought, you know what do you have to lose? I came back for a reason. I feel like I do want it more. Today is the big day. I'm just looking forward to going out there and making it count. I'm going to put absolutely everything into this performance. This is now my opportunity to prove what I can do.
I'm a little lost after you eat.
Standing out, holding all the people here to see the show. Calling for my people now, we're living more. I need something new, something new. I believe you won't tell me so, wait, I'm not supposed to be. You can do the things, you can do the things, Broke my heart, and I was like, I'm never coming back on the show because I can't give it a heartbreak. No one's gonna hold me again the second time. Going so offside. Oh my god, his face was like, you did the face. No, you guys did this up. You know what? Based on that performance, it was fine. I know that I messed up. And I was just like, how do I bring this back? And I just knew I couldn't because the song was nearly finished.
We're back in 2021, you've got 2 chairs.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Honestly, no one has anyone like you. I feel like I made a mistake there, so I'm just so glad that you're on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did the turn. I was gonna start the fence there, but I was almost there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When you started off, I thought, wow, you've got a unique sounding voice there. Really great. I love what you did.
Thank you so much.
Totally fantastic. The emotion put across the song was brilliant. So you tick all the boxes for me. You tick all the boxes for my team. Listen, from someone who's been rejected on a TV show before, I had to come back and bounce back, and I have nothing but respect for you for doing that today.
Thank you so much.
That is huge. That was the hottest performance I've had on the show this year.
Thank you so much.
100%.
I definitely was marketing you throughout my high school years. I have a birthmark here. For the whole of high school, I was actually called Black Eyed Peas. So thank you.
Wow,
it's okay. I can laugh back at it now. I love my birthmark.
You know, I would really like you on my team. I turned first. I really like your voice. It's really awesome that you put aside your worries, your fears, even if it meant another error. That's what life is about, especially when you're trying to pursue dreams. You came back, boom, proved it, you got 2. Now it's up to you to decide who you want to be your coach.
The person I like to marry. I mean, the person.
Watch this.
You know, I love you. I've been a big fan of you since day one. You got mad energy. I just think you're such a sweet character. But Will.i.am, you're the guy who needs to turn around for me. And you know what? I'm going to add some extra spice to the team, 100%. Oh my god, I'm so excited. It was smiling.
She was good.
That was a good one, Will.
That was a good one.
I'm well happy.
So hard to get back up there, but I did it and we got the next round. Let's go!
You happy yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, how did you do that? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Stop.
If you fancy even more great British entertainment, head over to BritBox. Ireland and streaming on dancing streaming now. Pressure on Ice is back as celebs prepare to show the nation their skating skills. Dancing on Ice is tomorrow at 6. An unexpected death turns a dream into a nightmare. Kiwi All Stars and brand new Finding Alice tomorrow at 9. Also, there's TV showdowns next.
TV Studio.
Thunderbolt, National Lottery. ITV Entertainment.
No? You want the heater? Well,
is now on. For only £25 a month, get super reliable, super fast broadband and anytime.
That's why he's having a look at the black spot, because I think that red is
No, you got him. That was yours.
Staged Series 2. All episodes streaming now on BBC iPlayer.
Good evening. Football is keeping a lot of us going through these desperate times, and on Match of the Day tonight, we've got 5 games for your enjoyment. There's goals in all of them and some big results at both ends of the table. We'll analyse both the good and the bad. We're on After the News here on BBC One at 10:20.
Game tomorrow, Liverpool, Manchester United.
The airline industry calls for urgent financial support from the government if it says it's to survive another long period of travel curbs. It comes after tougher restrictions on arrivals were announced, which the government said would protect the public from new variants of COVID-19. Also on tonight's programme, India's undertaking a huge coronavirus vaccination programme begins in the country with a target of 300 million people to be inoculated by August. Joe Root hits a double century, but England doesn't have it all their own way in Sri Lanka.
Hello, Your Highness.
Good morning, everybody.
And the Duke of Cambridge speaks to NHS staff and volunteers, praising all those involved in the UK's COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Hello, very good evening to you. The airline industry says it needs urgent financial support from the government if it is to survive another long period of travel curbs. The call comes after the government announced tougher COVID-19 restrictions from Monday. Most people coming into the UK will have to quarantine. Tonight, the government said it was committed to getting the industry back to full strength as soon as it was safe to do so. Here's our business correspondent, Katie Austin.
We're being told to stay home now, but last summer travel corridors helped holidays happen. Now the system, which removes the requirement to quarantine when arriving from a list of places, is about to be suspended. Jeff is working in Bahrain. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, how are you?
He's due to fly to Britain when his contract ends in a fortnight, but hasn't yet sorted accommodation. The rule change means he'll now have to provide authorities with an address to self-isolate at.
So it means that we do need to secure a place to stay before we leave here. The main concern is that with the situation, with the different the new regulations, if you like, that are in place, is that we will see some flight cancellations.
The halt to travel corridors is the latest restriction to be introduced. It means that from Monday, people arriving into the UK from anywhere must quarantine for 10 days, or they can take a COVID test on the 5th day, pay for it, and if it's negative, they can leave quarantine early. The rules do apply to Eurostar and to seaports as well, but not to some jobs like hauliers and not to people travelling within the UK and Ireland. And also from Monday, the requirement kicks in to show a negative COVID test within 72 hours of departing to come to the UK. There have been fresh calls for urgent, targeted additional support for the aviation and aerospace sectors, which have suffered badly already. The aviation minister accepted it was a difficult time for them, but said support had been available.
The most important thing for all of the travel industry is we're able to get people out and about travelling as soon as possible. And it's what we're doing with the massive rollout of 3.2 million jabs. That's what offers the real prospect of better times for the aviation industry and the whole travel industry.
Labour said the government should have acted earlier. Groups representing the travel industry accept the need for rules to tighten, but are asking where things go from here.
We're saying to the government that they need to look at all of the measures that they've got in place for travel at the moment and all of those restrictions, and actually come up with a plan to move forward so that when restrictions are start to lift, there is a clear plan in place.
For many travel and holiday companies, the light at the end of the tunnel is still looking distant.
Well, Katie, as you can see, joins us. So what help might be available and for whom?
Well, the kind of measures already in place that the government has pointed to include extending the furlough scheme to the end of April, business rates relief and tax deferrals. This evening, the aviation minister has tweeted that in recognition of the impact the travel corridors closing will have on the aviation sector, a scheme to provide support to airports and ground operations specifically would now open this month. Now, that had previously been announced in November, but without a date. Now, the aim of it is to provide grants of up to £8 million for each applicant to cover fixed costs, things like business rates, and grants would hopefully, the government says, reach these applicants by the end of the financial year. The Airports Operators Association, which obviously represents airports, said yesterday that a lot of its members were running on fumes and urgently needed more support. Tonight it's welcomed what the aviation minister has said about the grant scheme. It said it's welcomed the opportunity coming soon to see more detail, but that a further support package will still be needed because this will only see its members so far.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well, the latest government figures show there were 41,346 new coronavirus infections recorded in the latest 24-hour period. It means on average the number of new cases reported per day in the last week is 48,565, a sign that the cases are beginning to fall perhaps across the UK, an average of 35,882 people in hospital with coronavirus. That's over the 7 days to Thursday. 1,295 deaths were reported. That's people who died within 28 days of a positive COVID-19 test. On average, in the past week, 1,103 deaths were announced every day. Total number of deaths so far across the UK, 88,590. And as you know, the UK has now started its programme of mass vaccinations. 324,233 people now have had their first dose of one of the three approved COVID-19 vaccines in the latest 24-hour period, taking the overall number then of people who've had their first jab to just over 3.5 million. Now, a huge coronavirus vaccination programme has begun in India with a population of almost 1.4 billion. India has reported over 10.5 million coronavirus cases. That's more than any other nation except the United States. The government hopes to inoculate 300 million people by August. From Delhi, our South Asia correspondent, Virginia Vitamin.
In a nation of well over 1 billion people, 34-year-old hospital cleaner Manish Kumar became the first to receive a coronavirus vaccine.
The fear in my mind has gone. Everyone should get the vaccine. This is how we save our country.
The country's Prime Minister Narendra Modi used a virtual address to kick off what he described as the world's largest immunisation programme. Frontline and healthcare workers take priority in the initial rollout.
I think they get rid of the vaccine.
They were given the red carpet and red roses. Dr. Puneet Jetli, who's treated COVID patients, also got the vaccine today. How are you feeling now you've had the vaccine?
Feeling absolutely safe and absolutely fit and absolutely fine. Very joyous, very ecstatic.
This is one of around 3,000 vaccination centres which have been set up across India. Here and elsewhere, they're hoping to vaccinate around 100 people a day. So if you do the maths, that means that India's aiming to vaccinate more than 300,000 people every day. But as the day drew to a close, the government said it had only reached 2/3 of that target. Known as the pharmacy of the world, India is the global leader in vaccine manufacturing. The Oxford AstraZeneca Covishield jab, produced in the city of Pune, is one of 2 being rolled out. The second, Covaxin, developed by an Indian company, Bharat Biotech, is yet to pass its phase 3 trials, which means, even though officials say it's safe, we still don't know how effective it is. There's been widespread concern its approval was rushed. Junior doctors at a Delhi hospital told me they won't be taking it yet.
Phase 3 efficacy data is not out yet for Covaxin, which is being administered here. Doctors, we believe in science. So at this moment, we will not be going for Covaxin. We don't want to be the guinea pigs.
Persuading people to take the vaccine is just one challenge in a nation hit hard by COVID-19. They're burning a coronavirus effigy to celebrate the start of the vaccine drive. It's been a dark year for this vibrant nation. Today, Indians are hoping they turned a corner. Regina Vaidyanathan, BBC News, Delhi.
Now, Uganda's president has been re-elected by a large majority. President Museveni, who's been in power for 35 years, secured nearly 59% of the vote in Thursday's poll. That's according to electoral officials. The main opposition candidate, Bobi Wine, had alleged fraud, but the president insisted the result was fair.
On account of the sampling identification machines, this may be the most free
The UK, France and Germany are warning Iran against carrying out work on uranium metal-based fuel if it wants to preserve the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. It comes as the US, which pulled out of the deal in 2018, imposed new sanctions on companies dealing with Iran in the final few days of Donald Trump's presidency. Now, a volcano in Indonesia has erupted, spewing smoke and ash some 3 miles up into the atmosphere. Semeru Mountain in East Java, and one of the nearly 130 active volcanoes in Indonesia. It's not yet known whether anyone has been injured or indeed evacuated from the area. Time for the sport with Carthy and Yana Seagram at the BBC Sports Centre. Hi, Carthy.
Hello, Kate. Thank you very much. An excellent double century from England's Test cricket captain Joe Root. There was quite the comeback today from Sri Lanka. The hosts finished day 3 on 156 for 2 in their second innings. England, though, still lead in goal by 130 runs. Joe Wilson, watch the action.
The match is not yet England's, but Saturday morning was Joe Root's.
A wide grin from one of the greats of English cricket.
By the time he finally made a mistake,
straight to deep mid-wicket.
Well, he'd made 228. A monumental innings. It felt like a match-winning performance. But not yet. Up the stairs, lunch, prepared to bowl. The home side batting again 286 behind, with plenty to prove. Well, there is more to Sri Lanka than ducks. 4 noughts on the scorecard in the first innings, a strong start this time. England suddenly had a problem. How to dismiss those who stubbornly remain? Well, Kusal Perera could have hit this anywhere. He found a fielder. Sometimes the luck's with you. Sometimes. 1 caught, 1 dropped. Tiramani to Sibley and down.
That's a top catch.
And the captain? Well, it's still a lovely view from up there. Sri Lanka's fight back continued as the skies darkened. England needed something before the close. Here it comes. Pure beauty. Just a faint touch. Jack Leach's delivery found the batsman's glove. Kusal Mendes out. Sri Lanka will resume, still 130 behind. It's a contest. Well, Joe Wilson, BBC News.
It's time to pop out of the room if you don't want to know today's football results as match of the day and sports scene in Scotland. Follow soon on BBC One. Leicester have moved up to second place in the Premier League after goals from James Maddison and Harvey Barnes gave them a 2-0 win over Southampton. Chelsea beat Fulham to move up to 7th place. Brighton and West Ham also had 1-0 wins today, while Sam Allardyce had his first win with West Brom beating Wolves 3-2. In the Scottish Premiership, second place Celtic drew 0-0 with Livingston. It was the same score for Hamilton and Dundee United, while there were wins for Hibernian, Ross County and St Johnstone. Rugby Union, and with all European pool matches postponed, the only game to be played in the UK today was thankfully a Pro 14 thriller, with Glasgow Warriors beating Edinburgh by 23 points to 22, as Adam Wild reports.
They call this the oldest intercity rugby match in the world. Since 1872, Glasgow have been taking on Edinburgh. But whilst age and tradition still count for plenty, youth too has its place. This was Ross Thompson, Glasgow ahead. Penalties were all either side had to show until shortly before the break. Jamie Farndale finding space for the first time, giving Edinburgh the lead. It took until the second half for Glasgow to wrestle back control. George Turner here, powering over. Even without the roar of the fans, it's clear this is a match that matters, and back came Edinburgh, storming through for Chris Dean to reduce the gap with a quite... Down the decades, there won't be many finishes to this fixture, as dramatic as what then followed. With just moments left, Aroni Sal squeezed in to bring Edinburgh to within a single point. A kick then to win it. A miss, and it's Glasgow's night in this oldest of rivalries. Adam Wilde, BBC News.
More on the BBC Sport website, including the latest on Heather Watson and almost 50 other tennis players being confined to their hotel rooms ahead of the Australian Open after a positive coronavirus case on their flights. Kate.
Harvey, thank you very much indeed. Before we leave you, the Duke of Cambridge has praised those involved in the coronavirus vaccine rollout.
It's also from UK, they are all positive when they arrive there. Andy is also positive.
As a
Andy Morey.
He also said he was proud of the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh for having their COVID-19 vaccinations.
Hello, Your Royal Highness.
Good morning, everybody. Prince William spoke to a number of medics from different parts of what he called the world-leading NHS, all involved in the rollout of the vaccine.
I want to say congratulations to everyone involved in the vaccination program because it looks tremendous. It really does, and I know massive differences are made.
And the vaccine was making a massive difference to around 1,000 over 80s who were treated to organ music got their jabs at Salisbury Cathedral. These pensioners were keen to come forward.
But
the Prince was told that
is he okay?
for everyone.
We do have vaccine hesitancy in some groups, Your Royal Highness. It's really important to kind of really get into communities.
The Prince said he was very glad that the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh had been inoculated at Windsor Castle earlier this month.
My grandparents have had the vaccine, and I'm very proud of them for doing that. So it's really important that everyone gets their vaccine when they're told to.
The message seems to be getting through. Confirmation today that more than 3.5 million people in the UK have now been vaccinated. Andy Moore, BBC News.
You can see more on all of today's stories on the BBC News channel, but that's all from me and the team here, so a very good night to you. Bye-bye.
Good evening. The snow that some of us saw this morning mainly turned back to rain and then mainly cleared away. You can see it on the satellite picture. This band of cloud that brought the snow and the rain moved away to leave a mix of sunshine and showers during today. And the second half of the weekend generally does look a little bit drier. Some clear spells out there through tonight. Lots of showers across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Some of those getting down into England and Wales. Temperatures falling quite close to freezing. Not as cold as some nights we've had lately, but it could well be cold enough for a little bit of ice here and there, particularly where surfaces are wet. But for tomorrow, not a bad looking day for most of us. Dry for many, some spells of sunshine. There will be 1 or 2 showers. Across England and Wales, a few of those into parts of northwest England, North Wales, maybe getting down into the West Midlands. The showers more plentiful, I think, across Northern Ireland and particularly Scotland. And actually across the western side of Scotland, we're likely to see consistent rain later in the day with some snow over high ground, say above 500 metres. Temperatures pretty much exactly where they should be, 6 to 9 degrees, quite windy in the north, lighter winds further south. Now for Monday, we'll see some showery rain and mountain snow again across Scotland. And further south, we'll see cloud and rain gathering from the west later in the day. And that rain is only set to become more widespread as we head deeper into the week, particularly around some western hills. We could see some very heavy, persistent rain, and that could bring the risk of some flooding.
And if I had a chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you please be
Baby.
Would you be willing to talk about it?
This is Emma Hedges, the new lab technician. Hope you know what you're getting into.
Be my, be my.
How close they are to me. Bring it on.
All episodes streaming now on BBC iPlayer.
Channing Tatum and unrecognisable Steve Carell starring our Saturday night film, the true story of an eccentric millionaire with dangerous ambition. Foxcatcher here right after all the best from today's Premier League.
Sabay ko na nag-play ko mo? Oh, may salsa na. Nag-play Manchester City na. Yes, salsa ko sa dawa niya.
It's been booked already and he's off. Touch of the hand there. Against Dono, Sheffield United, their first Premier League win of the season. Returns it into the goal. The cross and Wolves have the equaliser. Kane into the 3 points for Everton. Foden took it nicely. That's wonderful. It's going to be a penalty. Sterling to seal it for City. Oh, and he's missed another one. But Manchester City have edged it. No saving that. Harry Kane has put Tottenham in front. It's a great header and a goal from a game he did not want. Scott Parker has taken a point he will cherish. As they close into the area, people as well. Hook himself as well. Why was arriving? The foul has been given, and that goal won't count. Pogba! A goal with real quality. Manchester United head to Anfield on Sunday, top of the Premier League.
Good evening. After some big moves in midweek, we head towards the halfway point of the season like no other. Well, since the last week. Goal celebrations are out, but Ian Wright and Jermaine Genius don't mind. They haven't scored in years. We begin with a very welcome Premier League return to the Black Country Derby as Wolves hosted second from bottom West Brom at Molineux. Commentary comes from Conor McNamara.
Adding spice to this one, Sam Allardyce was a Wolves fan as a boy. Now can he get his first win in charge of West Brom here at Molineux against a Wolves side that have only had one win in 8 Premier League matches. Willy Bolly returns to the Wolves defence, his first game in over a month. Adama Traore has recovered from a muscle injury that saw him miss the midweek defeat to Everton. Striker Patrick Cutrone has been recalled from his loan at Fiorentina and is on the bench. West Brom Sam Johnson and Matt Phillips have had positive COVID tests, so they're elite debuts for the club for goalkeeper David Button and Robert Snodgrass, newly joined from West Ham. Kamil Grosicki gets his first league start of the season in all 6 changes from West Brom's last league game. Ahead of kick-off at Molineux, the players take a knee. There's no room for racism. It's the first time these two local neighbours have been in the same division as each other for 9 years. This time was the 2011-2012 season, when West Brom won both games, including the 5-1 win here at Molineux when Peter Odemwingie got a hat-trick. Wolves sacked manager Mick McCarthy the very next day after that defeat. Traore gives it away on the edge of his own penalty area. Started this game on the front foot, you have to say. And there's an appeal for a penalty here on the edge of the box, and the referee is pointing to the spot. Michael Oliver has given a penalty here. Well, there's definitely an argument to be said. The challenge was outside the penalty area. Where does the first connection strike? Referee Michael Oliver pointed to the spot, and it is going to be a penalty. So West Bromwich Albion, who've been waiting all season to catch a break, Mateus Pereira cannot allow this opportunity to slip by. And that's such a cool card penalty. It is exactly what Sam Allardyce's side needed. West Bromwich Albion take the lead after just 8 minutes at the home of their deadly rivals Wolves.
Big Sam, what are you eating?
Nicely to remain in the field of play. Neto's got a few options here. Really good cross.
Kyle Bartley underneath it, and West Brom haven't fully got it away. Fabio Silva's appealing. There was a back pass in the end to the goalkeeper. Let's have a look here. The goalkeeper being fouled here by Silva. Handball, if the ball comes in
Oh, handball there.
The question deliberated by the video assistant referee, Kieran Gibbs, deemed not to have done anything wrong there. And Moutinho.
Handball, huh?
So, that's a good ball. And Willie Bolly with a flamboyant attempt there. What a goal this would have been. Created by the trickery out wide of Pedro Neto, and for a big, tall central defender, how ambitious was this? Is moving on. Impressed with a finish like that. Down, fouled by Romain Saiz. Free kick to West Brom. Haven't had too many of these pieces of the game. Mara. Down from Ajayi, Krashinsky, and Robinson. What a save by Rui Patricio. There would have been a question as to whether Callum Robinson was onside. He might have been just onside. He's onside, isn't he? Cody was playing him on. That is a marvellous save. So close to West Bromwich Albion doubling their lead.
Forward. West Brom. Yeah.
He was fouled. Smart there from Neto, but his ankles were just clipped by Snodgrass, weren't they? Promising position for a Wolves free kick now. Cross just too high for Bolly. In from Saiz. Over to leave the room for that, but he's going to get another chance here, and that's brilliant. The Portuguese wonder kid drags Wolverhampton Wanderers back on level terms in the Black Country derby. He was involved in the build-up. He was on the spot to finish it off. But credit to Fabio Silva here. I thought it was ambitious to try and chest it down when he was being marked so closely. But this youthful exuberance paid off for Wolves here. And when it fell back into his path, he had the wherewithal to take a little step back, to shield himself from the defender, to finish it calmly into the bottom corner. The Espirito Santo's team really needed that. Back to 1-1 in the half time. Now. Their shoulders from behind in the Black Country derby has been relieved, and now Adama Traore, so dangerous. Near corner Wolves. There, he was left for dust. And Moutinho to take the corner.
Oh, another one.
Defending from West Brom and pounced upon by Willie Bolly. Oh, West Bromwich Albion in the relegation zone have shot themselves in the foot here. A 1-goal lead has become a 2-1 deficit in the blink of an eye. Willie Bolly with his first goal of the season, but really it was handed to him on a plate. A couple of opportunities there to clear this away. I think he's more concerned with keeping his eye on the opponent than keeping his eye on the ball. It's there. Willie Bolly celebrates his return to the team.
Sigan to the bottom.
It was Grass taking on Gianmartino.
They won.
And away by Ruben Neves. Throw, decent distance on it. Bartley flicked it on, and it's in. Shemi Ajayi makes it 3 goals in 5 games for him. Having been 1-0 up, 2-1 down. West Brom dragged this game back to 2-2. He's done really well there, Ajayi. He needed to put some extra acceleration on the header. Just a little pop over the goalkeeper. Excellent response from Sam Allardyce's side. Having been in the changing rooms at half-time, 2-1 down. They have started this second half on the front foot. Goes down to the penalty area again, and the referee points to the spot again. And now a chance for Sam Allardyce's team to take the lead again. So the first penalty given away by Willy Bolly, the second penalty given away by Connor Cody. Here's Pereira, and he picks the other side this time. It's becoming a 5-goal thriller in Molineux. The latest twist in the tale sees West Bromwich Albion regain the lead. Shifted dramatically in this game numerous times, and when they have shifted, they've shifted rapidly. Feeling together happier about life again now. Over towards the technical area that will be Wolverhampton Wanderers captain. Makes way for the introduction of Ryan East-Norrie. Many games, Connor Cody. Part of the furniture here at Molineux. 3 minutes to play. The stoppages. Steam. Silva, now Nelson Semedo. Neto. It's going to fall to Catrone! Patrick Catrone with an opportunity, the first he's had since coming on. Just a little bit rusty with the strike. A man making his first appearance of this season for Wolves. Being without that man, Raul Jimenez, Wolves found things really difficult. Cody watching on to goes Fabio Silva in the penalty area, and it's going to be a free kick to West Brom, and he's going to get booked for the dive here. Desperation for Wolves being summed up by first Catrone and now Fabio Silva. No big appeal from Fabio Silva afterwards. He knows going to rights there.
Frustrated the way we play and with the results. 2 penalties and one throw-in that we knew that require better defending from us. And we didn't do it. We allowed from the throw-in to the goal. So we now must rectify and do better.
It's a great feeling. That the dressing room in there is absolutely rocking. We've got a great bunch of lads, very honest, determined. And sometimes, they don't get the credit you deserve in this game. And it's very ruthless in the Premier League. But, we've finally got what we deserve today, which is 3 points. I thought the lads were terrific.
For me, overall, it was a fantastic victory, but it was the amount of chances we actually created today that pleased me more, because I haven't seen us create that many chances in games when we've played. And this time I thought we created quite a few in both halves. Ultimately, we've won on a set play and 2 penalties. But that's something you take whenever it comes your way. A win was very important for us to come at this moment in time. But I am pleased about the opportunities we created in open play as well. A bit of a shame we didn't finish them off, but we did create them.
First win for Sam Allardyce, a vital win, of course, for West Brom. I saw real progress in them today. Having been beat at home, 4 by Arsenal, 5 by Leeds, lost in the FA Cup, obviously, to Blackpool as well, getting knocked out of that. Very disappointing. And today, with no Sam Johnston, no Dean Garner, no Gallagher, some really important players for them. Today, to come from behind in that second half, I thought they showed real character, real togetherness, and actually a lot of quality in big moments. He's brought in Snodgrass from West Ham, and you know what you're going to get from a player like Robert Snodgrass. He's going to work hard for you down that right-hand side, but he also adds the experience, lovely little bits of quality like this.
We all like a little nutmeg every now and again. But it wasn't just that. The intent for West Brom to play forward today was clear to see. When they did win the ball, there was runners. There was that ambition to get bodies forward and try and win and play higher up the park. In midfield, Jake Livermore I thought was solid. Helping out in situations like this. We know Traore causes a lot of problems. He was there to help out his fullback there, Kieran Gibbs. In the second half, he was the driving force. He's the leader of the team. He's had his own little mix-up with the manager himself, and he really stood tall today, winning battles in that midfield for his team, setting them on the attack. And one thing that I really liked was their moments of when to press. He didn't give the ball away, but the reaction from Robinson. Obviously, Pereira follows in. There's Snodgrass, Livermore. They're all following in with real kind of I suppose, ambition to want to win the ball. And then when it's that calm is needed, you've got players like Sawyers in midfield who can pick a pass into a lovely little pocket of space there for Pereira. And that's what I mean in terms of them on the front foot, on the attack, making moves, make mistakes, and Sawyers should be better there. And it was capped off with, what I think, Sam Allardyce will love, which is bodies on the line. This is last minute, Semedo, strike, in on goal. There's Bartley there, putting his body on the line for the team, letting his players know, obviously, he's upset and it should have been dealt with. But there's the passion that Allardyce will be looking for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. As for Wolves, that's 1 win in 9 since Jimenez got that nasty injury. But on a positive note, you're quite enjoying the progress of Fabio Silva.
Yeah, I am. And, unfortunately for him, the 2 goals that he scored, he's lost in both games. But what I saw from him today was great movement. And it's what he's going to need to do. Every time I saw the defenders on it or people in this kind of position, he's always showing. There's his first one. Then he goes again, doesn't get it. Then he comes back inside, he gets it. And then he shows his strength. Now, this wasn't happening a couple of weeks back. I think he's starting to learn very quickly, and he's going to have to. People are constantly doing a comparison with Jimenez. But again, I see him again. He's very young. And, this run here is brilliant. Now, he's got to give him that. Give him that quicker. Give him the opportunity to get on that and get the shot off, because he's making great movement. Look at his willingness to get into the near post. A better ball, maybe he could have got on the end of that. Stays involved. And what I like about this one in particular, he gets a bit of luck. I think he deserves it, hard work. When he eases him out, and then slots it in. Fantastic. And then this one, it's just unfortunate when this comes. Look how many runs he makes here. 2, 3, back in here again, and then he just misses it. That kind of movement, everything like that, he will score goals. Yeah.
Absolutely. We saw at the end of the game, big Sam Allardyce, and there's a lot of talk about no celebrations and stuff. We've got a little bit of Big Sam at the end. Have a listen.
No hugging, lads. No kissing.
There you go. Serious point. Serious bets. And play. We've noticed. We watched the games today without giving anything away for later in the show, but the players are trying to express their own emotions.
Yeah. I think over the years we've sat on this show and watched so many different types of celebrations. The players are creative, and I'm sure they'll come up with something over the next couple of weeks.
We might see when we look at the show. Leicester had the chance to go second against the Southampton side, who'd gone 7 away games unbeaten. Steve Bauer was at the King Power Stadium.
Leicester are hoping to replicate their form on the road back at the King Power as they name an unchanged team. Only 2 of Jamie Vardy's 11 Premier League goals have come at home. He has 5 in his career against today's opponents. And Southampton made 3 changes to the team that beat Liverpool last time out, courtesy of a Danny Ings winner. The top scorer isn't available to Ralph Hasenhüttl this evening, though. He's only just come out of isolation. But Leicester-born Che Adams is able to return, having missed the win over the champions. Just it. Taking on Armstrong. Humans. There's no flag. He's gone on Che Adams here. We're looking towards the officials. Raise his flag. He was just inside the Southampton half. That's right. Team is in the end. It's Michael Adams. But indeed, all Brighton for Leicester. Over the top towards. He was waiting to pass. Elements. Now Albright. Twisting. Once. Into gear. Lovely lead from Vardy. Action from Harvey Barnes. Narek. Ready from Smallbow. Into Adams. Michael protected his near post. He Leicester born player. Jay Adams. The King Power. Yellow. Yellow. Nearly followed him all the way. Tielemans. Yes. Available. So too is Albright. Completing this kit. It's a collector's item. On Leicester right, they might have another opportunity here. Albright. Stevens. Excellent run. So the goal. Squeezes it home. Socially distant celebration too.
No.
This was excellent from James Madison though. Early ball. Tielemans wriggled away from Stevens. Managed to power it past McCarthy at his near post. His fifth Premier League goal of the season. Being on the yellow earlier on in the phase of play. To the ball. Really strong hand. 8 times to Southampton. Brian Bertrand. Full power. Go. Leicester have won all 8 Premier League games this season when they scored the first goal. And Southampton changed that trend. Armstrong. The awareness of Smallbow. Oh, it came quickly back at Theo Walcott. Michael saved. Lost to start of the second half from the visitors. Armstrong right at the heart of it.
Let's see when Michael.
The first time, and Michael got away. Justin. Tielemans. Barnes. Justin. Flicked in towards Vardy. Over that one. Get a space in between the two defenders. Jamie Vardy. Peters. London. Armstrong with space. Is the Scotland international. Still Armstrong. Good effort. The crossbar. Evans with the follow-up. I think that's a penalty. Is what the referee's assistant, Eddie Smart, has given. Initially, it was a wonderful hit from Stuart Armstrong. Albright. Bednarik. Albrighton. And here's Barnes! The intervention. They called an international. In the right place at the right time. Tell us it was actually going in from Harvey Barnes. Not a beam, but didn't know that. Justin, but picked up now by Walcott. Redmond's away. Now Bertrand. Ward-Prowse.
Oh.
Stretching. Justin as well. Ward-Prowse into Walcott. Peters on the overlap. Excellent cross and London to get there first. There's Miss Charlton. Very happy for play to continue. Justin. Hardy points to where he wants it. He's got it. And he's got a chance to seal it. Toby Vardy. Denied by McCarthy. Beyond doubt. Inside. Away from Southampton. Perez onside. Tight one. Perez. No one over for Southampton. Stevens. Tielemans. They've got an opportunity. The very last kick to make it 2-0 with Barnes. They have. Harvey Barnes puts it beyond doubt. And at last, Leicester have taken one of those opportunities. And these 3 points will send them second in the Premier League. Barnes into double figures for goals this season. He's 13th in the Premier League. He was definitely onside. Shaped his body. An 11th win of this season for Leicester. They'll finish tonight in the top 2. Leicester 2, Southampton 0.
They've won this team and they keep going to the end. And they kept fighting. They've done all the dirty work much better in the second half. And then Harvey's shown now that he's getting really clinical in front of goals. He's won the ball back really well, perfectly to pass. And he finishes and then of course gets the game's won there. But we had, like you say, Steve, we had other chances to make it more comfortable.
We had a few good moments, I think. Goalkeeper made a few good saves also, and the goal from Madison was outstanding. That was the difference maybe for the whole game.
You know how to speak English now?
Interesting anymore. We try to
that
keep
is
the game
different,
as
yeah.
long as possible. Then you make a little bit more space for them in the end because you take more risk, and then it's normal that they have fewer counterattacks. But still, there we defended with everything we had, with all the passion we put in the game at the moment, and so I'm proud of my team. They did the maximum we can do in the moment.
Big hot topic this week about lack of celebration.
Yeah.
Was that in your mind? Was that a conscious thing today?
Well, the gaffer actually mentioned something, and obviously
There's
we
a
got told
cricket tomorrow.
in a meeting
Yeah.
that that's something
Sunday.
that might be implemented and something that we might have to do going forward.
Last year
to
they
keep football going, and that's what we all want.
That's the
Everyone
beat
wants,
9
and I think
too.
to find one person that doesn't want football to continue.
What? This,
That's the beat.
So
Southampton 9
it's just
too.
a little bit
That's
of
when
a-
that fella
yeah,
first game.
a
One of his
light-hearted
first
joke
games he
and
ever
something that we need to
played
make
against
sure
Leicester.
that,
That manager.
Yeah, well done you. It's absolutely the right way.
Let's restart.
Leicester up to second. Beaten in 5. I think it's the first time in that they've won their first 2 games in the top flight in the new year since 1984. It's that long ago. It's black and white, probably. What a time to be alive.
Absolutely. Leicester amongst it, man. Leicester know what it's like. And if we're going to be totally honest, I think they've got players in the squad where they can get involved, man. But like, what I looked at when I saw Southampton today is the pressing. And their pressing was really good at the start. And you have to be, because if you give people like Tielemans and Maddison time and space, you're probably going to get hurt. And like
Ralph Hasenhüttl said. He said, you know what I mean, they didn't take the chances. And if they maybe took those chances off of the closing down, if they could have won the ball back and then really got into Leicester, they might have been able to then put Leicester under the kind of pressure where they open up a little bit more. It was instances like this where they won the ball and then bang, you're thinking, okay, they need to take advantage of one of these kind of situations. You see him getting forward, they're fine up. Theo's not he's trying his best to get up there, but in the end, he runs out of space there. And then we're talking about what, the 37th minute, and they seem to just drop off. Look at Theo, he's not as intent. And then you look how much time.
Injuries as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But like, look at the time and space that Tielemans has got with Maddison on the edge of the box, and that is what can happen. If you give them that time, so if you're going to put them under pressure, you've got to keep them under pressure and then try and take the chances. But you don't do that unless they will be.
By a penalty at that point. There were a few complaints, though, Jermaine. There was a foul in the build-up to the always crucial first goal.
Yeah, and it's a foul. I think it's a simple foul. It's one that's missed by the referee on Diallo. He does really well in midfield, and indeed he's all over.
To stay on his feet.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that we spoke about where he's almost been punished for not going down. He's tried to stay on his feet because he knows he's got a chance. Because indeed he's all over him, pulling him all over the place. Should have been given. I mean, it was probably like 30, 40 seconds later that the goal was scored. But, it still should have been given as a foul.
That's the second. Put that again.
Hey, good. I think, look, if I'm giving Manchester United a chance to win the league, I would say Leicester have got a chance to win the league. I think Leicester are a top outfit. They fell away around this time of the season last year.
They were in a similar spot.
Better squad, though. You constantly tell us.
I'm just,
not biased, obviously, but they have got a chance.
Okay. All right. 4 defeats in 6 had seen Chelsea lose touch at the top of the table. They face Fulham, who remain in the bottom 3 despite being unbeaten in 5. All of them draws, though. Simon Brotherton was at Craven Cottage.
Fulham's recent upturn in form has seen them take a point off both Liverpool and Tottenham, among others, but a win today would be their first over Chelsea since 2006. They make one enforced change, with Ademola Lookman coming back into the side in place of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's on loan from Chelsea and therefore ineligible. Chelsea have lost their last 3 on the road. They haven't lost 4 in a row away from home in the league for just over 20 years. Timo Werner has been dropped to the bench, with Olivier Giroud starting up front. Jorginho plays, with N'Golo Kanté suspended, and Antonio Rudiger is preferred to Kurt Zouma at the back. Past the 400 appearance mark for Chelsea. Robinson. He just looks in ahead of Mason Mount. Tucked in by Azpilicueta. Lay off by Giroud. Mount goes for it once more. Back to Olivier Giroud. First attacked on goal. And the Frenchman certainly had his compatriot Alphonse Areola on full stretch there to ensure the ball didn't sneak into the far corner. Robinson. Robinson's got the pace to cause problems here. He can't quite find Caballero. It's Lookman who blasts it. Robinson once more. Rudiger's in the way. Kovacic heads clear. So look at Fulham on that left-hand side there. Anthony Robinson causing real problems here. Away from Azpilicueta. Important block by Rudiger. Not once, but twice. Way to the far side, and Azpilicueta in towards Pulisic. Very important header there by Ola Enger. Get it away as Chilwell sent it across once more. Only half clear and smacked against the bar. And away it goes, and Chelsea so close to the opening goal through Mason Mount. Fortuitous escape for Fulham. Finding Mount as to the Azpilicueta in support on the far side. Trying to get away from Adebayo. Will be a corner kick. More Chelsea pressure now. Rudiger with the header, and Areola was there to flick it round the post. Little spell this from Chelsea. Rudiger posing a real threat. Lookman, oh, a lovely touch there from Ademola Lookman, and here goes Anthony Robinson. Going as Peliqueta, a clean pair of heels. Kenny Teta in. There's a great chance here. And Caballero can't take it. Lovely move from Fulham from one end of the field to the other. It was swift and Chelsea were really struggling to deal with it. Robinson picking out Kenny Teta and they're completely unmarked. Caballero unable to get his shot on target. Big chance for Fulham. Ravallo. Lost 90 seconds of the opening 45 minutes here, and it's Fulham who are knocking on the door, asking a few questions. And Robinson combine, and Robinson goes diving in, and Azpilicueta rolls in pain. And it's a straight red card from Peter Banks. Straight red card for Anthony Robinson for his challenge on Cesar Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta upended. He missed him and then just went wading in and took out the Chelsea player. And Robinson, who has caused Chelsea considerable problems at times in this first half, with one rash, reckless challenge, has seen red in every sense of the word. Jorginho and Chilwell, who is available on the far side. Is control there, but the ball is fallen kindly for Chelsea. Kovacic's pulling it in. Advantage taken by the referee, and they will have a corner at the end of it. Back to the sick now. Sends it over, and somehow it stays out. So whether that was the right hand of Areola or his right hand post, or maybe a combination of the two, the goalkeeper's hand. It goes once more and just out of reach at the far post. It's just slid in. Ziyech with the delivery. Sick at full stretch, so close to making contact with the ball. Free kick for Fulham. Right through the second half, training towards Lukman. Chases hard. Real trouble here. Blasted against Thiago Silva. Chelsea's defence was suddenly all over the place for a second there. Just watch this again. Fulham with the quick free kick. Lukman putting pressure on Azpilicueta. Mendy makes the block and Caballero might get it past Thiago Silva. Yeah, finding Lukman held up by Thiago Silva. Up towards Hudson-Odoi. Harrison Reed is there. Here's Abraham. Fouled by Lukman. Chelsea's ball. And quick with the kick. Mount. Chilwell. Here's Hudson-Odoi. Quick to get the ball to the substitute. Fresh onto the pitch. Here's Chilwell. Looks to tee it up. Forced wide by Teta. Clawed away by the keeper. Blasted into the back of the net by Mason Mount. Chelsea finally make the breakthrough. 78 minutes into the game. It was Mount who scored the opening goal in the FA Cup third round last weekend. And he puts Chelsea ahead again here. Areola clawing the ball away. And a lovely, sharp, crisp finish from Mason Mount. Fulham 0, Chelsea 1. And Fulham's stubborn resistance finally ended. Well challenged. Mount back in possession once more. Chelsea slipping around seconds. Really put the game to bed and added time here. Pulisic, lovely play from Christian Pulisic. It's behind Werner. Here's Azpilicueta. Goodness me, that was a good chance. Well, it's a year since he last scored, and he's going to have to wait a little longer.
Oh dear.
To be honest, it wasn't even close, was it? Collected by Lukman, and he's blocked off there by Azpilicueta. That'll be a card. yellow card for Chelsea's captain. Well, it needs to be a good free kick. Needs to happen now.
Oh.
Brian sends it over to the far side. And
Really,
headed away
Brian?
by Chilwell. And Werner should complete the clearance with help from Pulisic, who sends it away. And Werner now sprinting clear. Fulham backpedaling rapidly. Here's the chance to finish the game off, but he hasn't taken it. Timo Werner with a wonderful chance to score deep in added time as Chelsea raced from one end of the field to the other. Everything about this was superb until he got into the penalty area. The final score, Fulham 0, Chelsea 1.
He must have been sitting there at half time thinking, this must win the second half.
Well, it felt that way because we take advantage of that situation. And the reality is, when we were a month ago, when we've been flying high with the top scorers in the Premier League, we were scoring goals. In that month since, so we've struggled to get goals for different reasons. Individuals are not getting the numbers that we want. Can affect confidence. So it's a challenge even against the man down. Can we keep creating? And who's going to pop up with a bit of magic or the finish to get us a goal? We got that. We could have scored more. We didn't. It's a nice feeling for us, and I must take it forward. I thought defensively we was fantastic. You come in at half time, you understand the game's a little bit different. All of a sudden now you still wanted to be a bit of a counter threat, which we was. I remember Caballero chance maybe in the second half, bit of a confusion. And we had moments, but like I said, second half you're probably playing the clock a little bit. And 78 minutes, you're thinking maybe let's hold on here. Want to be, but listen, nothing but absolute admiration. I think if there was a proud moment, I was proud of it. Because it was superb.
Found your shooting boots in the last week or so. Now turned 22, and now I've got 2 goals. So it's been a good week. Hopefully that continues. I should have had 2 tonight. Really, I should have scored in the first half. So yeah, I would have been happy with 2. But yeah, I'm very happy with 1 as well.
I hope he doesn't have to wait till he's 33 to get a third. A lot of talk about, obviously, this season, Chelsea's new signings, the amount of money that they spent on them. But to my mind, their best and most consistent player is Mason Mount. He's been terrific. That's why I think he's always first on the team sheet. Because he can rely on him. He scores goals. He's got the creativity to his game. Energy as well, isn't it? Real energy. You know what? When you look at his game, there's not much missing. No. I really don't think there is. I think, and in today's game in particular, this is a pressurised game. I think for Frank really epitomised, that feeling and really took the game to Fulham. The technique is impeccable. Strikes like that. You thought he should finish it. I thought it was a tough chance. He had that bite in midfield when they needed it. He was there to defend his teammates when he wasn't happy with certain challenges going in, and rightly so. It was a poor challenge from Robinson. I love this. Tight, under pressure, receives it with space, side on, looks really calm and composed in those areas in and around the box. And one thing you know with Mason Mount, there's no better person, I think, in the Chelsea team than this right now. It's a poor decision from the goalkeeper. Strike from Mason Mount. Drops his shoulder, keeps himself over it, and he just knows hit the target, keep it down, in at the back of the net. It was a really accomplished play. Very much so. We showed it there in the Mason Mount analysis, the turning point in the red card.
Yeah.
No complaints.
No, none at all.
Rash.
No, none at all.
I
don't think so. The way he's got in some real intent there, because as much as he's not going into hurt him, unfortunately, he catches him. Mason Mount's right. I'm surprised there ain't more Chelsea players around. Because look at that. That is really.
So yeah, it was the right decision. It's one of the ones the referees give himself a bit of time to think about it. It was unfortunate for Scott Parker and Fulham at the time. Right at the end of the first half, and they were doing really well.
Actually, they did pretty well in the second half. You can see an improvement in Fulham, can't you? That gives you hope that they can stay in the Premier League.
Huge improvement. Huge improvement.
Well, it was an important win, of course, Chelsea, after having a tough spell, but also having a bit of a tough spell, his team over.
Yes.
And it would have been a perfect afternoon for them had he finished his chance, but alas.
I was willing him to score this because he looks like one of those kind of strikers that once he gets going, he really does. And he does literally everything right here. When he gets to the end, which we'll see on this other angle, when he gets there, it's just you can see it's almost behind him a little bit. It's almost like in golf, he's blocked it. The ball needs to be just a little bit more in front of him so he can get that whip on it. And unfortunately, up until that point, he done everything right. But it's just unfortunate that he just took too much on it. Wide, but hopefully he'll keep
What do you do? Well, we've all been, well, as strikers, we all go through bad spells. What did you do? Did you try and change things, or just make sure you keep doing the right thing?
I just kept trying to score in training.
Yeah.
I just kept trying to score in training, because then scoring in training and the muscle memory being the game. Obviously the crowd come in and then you start feeling a little bit like, well, not at the moment. Well, no, not now, but like when the crowd's there, you do get a bit of nerves, but no, I didn't.
I'm just glad you answered that question. If that was him or Shearer, you know the answer. It'd have been, we never went through a bad spell.
Yeah.
Never went through one.
That's not true. I did say we all go through bad spells.
Yeah.
No,
never hear about those. I've never heard about.
No, the nice thing when you finish playing is they all get forgotten. It's like, they forget all the rubbish that you played. It's terrific. 3 games in Match of the Day 2. I wonder which one will take centre stage.
Manchester.
Clash of the Titans.
It's like the days of old. United 19. It goes on for the Manchester United heads top.
Live has commentary of Liverpool, Manchester United at 4:30 on Premier League Sunday. Listen on BBC Sounds. The NFL show follows us at snooker. The Masters final begins at 1 p.m. on BBC Two. If you missed the start of the programme, it's on iPlayer now with the whole show up from first thing Sunday. And then next week, it's this.
4th round, here we go. The first meeting in history. Champions League v Championship.
That's another glorious goal.
Biggest of rivalries.
Done it again.
The FA Cup, 0
Go,
fit.
go, let's go.
Coverage of 5 live games starts next Saturday from 3, including with Manchester United v Liverpool. Next Sunday, 4:30 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Leeds welcomed Brighton to Ellen Road for the first time in the top flight since 1982. The visitors sat just 2 points above the relegation zone after 9 games without a win. Steve Wilson was watching.
Leeds have been one of the stories of the Premier League season so far, though they didn't much enjoy being the story of the FA Cup last weekend. Goalkeeper Kiko Casilla had a particularly difficult day at Crawley, but he plays in the Premier League for the first time today. Ilan Meslier is self-isolating. Calvin Phillips is suspended. Ben White played every minute of every league game as Leeds won the championship title last season, but Brighton steadfastly refused to allow a permanent move to Ellen Road, or indeed to anywhere else. It's only the 7th time these two clubs have met in the top flight of English football, 3 wins apiece in the previous 6. Moved away by Ailing. Rafinha jabbed onto Alioski. 4 in the middle for Leeds. Right in, and Rodrigo was close. It's a great ball in. Alioski absolutely hammered it across the face of goal. Rodrigo and Harrison weren't too far away from getting onto this. Doesn't look a brilliant playing surface, it has to be said. It's catching up early on. Simply during the warm-up. It's been throwing lots of rain of late. Carefully forward. McAllister, good ball. Mope! Now he's gone to ground. He's getting nothing. Well, Craig Pawson, the video assistant referee, will check that. If there wasn't a touch from Ailing, you would have to ask yourself why on earth Neil Mope would throw himself to the ground rather than try and score. And the VAR have confirmed that decision. On any of the last 9 Premier League games, Brighton, their longest winless streak since they were promoted to the Premier League. Ben White for Brighton. McAllister. Feldman to his right hand side. McAllister into Trossard. Can he turn? He's found a great tackle. Passed their way through. Trossard, McAllister, the finish. Brighton lead at Ellen Road by 1-0, and what a very, very nice goal it is. This was excellent. McAllister had Veltman to his right, instead dinked it into Trossard, took the return, and Mope got the last touch to put Brighton in front. Super goal. It's the kind of chance you like when you've got a number 9 on your back. Back-to-back 3-0 defeats for Marcelo.
You know how to speak English, Ismail. Is a manager English?
Yeah.
It's across to White. And again.
Actually, what football? What is it?
What? The league?
They can go away or go.
It's in the middle, it's deflected, it's hit the bar. Came off Ayling and hit the face of the bar. Again, it's really nicely worked. And smashed off Ayling onto the bar. Mote couldn't respond, it rebounded behind him. He was unlucky in some ways, Neil Mote. And it Brighton side the and then if their last 9 Premier League games are played with a lot of confidence. Tiger might be baring his teeth at half time. They've taken more points away from home than they have at home this season. That's of Leeds, so maybe we shouldn't be surprised that Brighton are in front. Matthias Click into Rafinha. Rafinha away from Dunk into Bamford. Well covered by Veltman.
Why?
Across the face, a goal from Harrison. Well, that's the best move Leeds United have put together so far, and it ends with Harrison missing the target. Really good run by Rafinha. Bamford had it taken away by Veltman. Harrison was there. It's a decent chance that just didn't get it to curl enough. Clean sheet since a 0-0 draw with Fulham in the middle of December. Alioski got himself tied in knots. Here's Mope for Brighton. Throws his square. That's Trussell.
Whoa!
Well, Alioski will be hugely relieved as it's driven over the top of the crossbar by Trossard. Well, Alioski here got himself in a right mess. Neil Mope set it up and it was driven high over the top of the bar. It's his 120th game in charge of
Are you sitting now?
He's had most games prior to that was Athletic Bilbao, where he also had 13 games in charge. That's where he's in trouble. Tyler Roberts blocked it. Bamford through to Roberts.
Oh!
Well, the game is definitely beginning to open up. Both sides beginning to make errors on what is a really quite treacherous surface in places. Roberts didn't really test Sanchez in the end. March. And Webster. Good run by Webster. Hits the shot. You can see it. Stretching makes the save. Great run by Webster. We've seen this several times in the game. Really hit it that well, in all honesty, but it still needed saving. Leeds had only failed to score in 2 league games before their 3-0 defeat at Tottenham last time out. Now again struggling to find a goal, a bit struggling to actually get much of a meaningful effort on target. Harrison, 4 in the middle. Harrison's cross. Pablo Hernandez and Tyler Roberts almost got in each other's way. It falls to Bamford. And it's a 3-kick. It's a foul on Veltman. Oh, it was pinging around all over the place inside that Brighton penalty area. And it wouldn't fall for Leeds.
I thought the goal was excellent. Obviously, the build-up was terrific, especially given the surface, which isn't great.
No, there's obviously a bit of weather on the pitch. Didn't make it so easy, but yeah, a nice goal for us. We played well, had a good defensive shape, and then could ask the question ourselves, which was important. When you consider we got 120 minutes at Newport, two penalties,
on the pitch,
Wednesday.
They probably cleaned it up a bit.
No defendimos como de acuerdo a la capacidad que tiene el equipo para recuperar la pelota.
We didn't defend as well as we could, especially in the capacity to recover the ball.
No atacamos con la fluidez con que podemos, somos capaces de hacer.
and we didn't attack with the fluidity that we usually do.
Eso a dos aspectos.
Translator.
Those two aspects, it means that our performance wasn't a good one.
How come you have missed?
Why you took the manager does not speak?
It's like a life. Sometimes you score, sometimes you don't. But as long as you keep working hard, and trust me, that's what I do. That's what the team do as well. I'm glad to be in this team because my teammates, believe in me. That's what gives me my strength on the pitch.
Yeah, much needed victory for Brighton. Their first in 10 Premier League games in, and they were good value for it. Right?
Excellent value for it. Considering the amount of players they've got missing as well. The manager, I thought he would have selected right today. Well, absolutely, because Leeds, and we'll go on to them, we're very disappointed. There's the manager say, from an attacking point of view and defensively, but Brighton and the way they started, and the way they closed Leeds down. It was like you could see that they've set the trap for Leeds in the way they were. You see him there dithering on the ball. Ben White, who had a great game, alongside Benton, who was brilliant today. West was brilliant today. They just tried to attack the spaces that were left because they were very much wide open and didn't have many options. You look at them there, people just waiting around. He gets the ball, he takes the ball off of him, and he's got no movement in front of him, and then on another day, he probably gets that ball through, and they could have been a lot worse for him. Misses the goal. Great play from Brighton. I think this came from the goalkeeper. Ben White had a fantastic game. This is good movement. See, Ailing's lost. Okay, on the back stick there. Trossard, great ball into him, and then bam. That was a fantastic move for them. Fantastic.
Yeah. And you know what, as well, I think they'd have known the West Brom result earlier on in the day, and it just put a lot of pressure on Graham Potter and his team. And in fairness, they responded brilliantly. Leandro Trossard there with a chance to just unfortunately hit the bar, but it was just they had real passion about their display today. It was real. You kind of could see in the celebration afterwards. It was a big one for them. More good play, more intent, more runners, more bodies trying to get in the box. Leandro Trossard really making life a little bit easier for Graham Potter. He'll be delighted.
Terrific 3 points. I mean, we've enjoyed Leeds this season, but for all their flamboyance and the fact they've conceded lots of goals and scored lots of goals, actually they've gone 3 games without a goal now and haven't scored in 2021.
Yeah, they look right off it. This is a fantastic ball in, but that's the way it was going for them today. But this is what I was very surprised with them. I'm thinking they're going to try and play it through the midfield. I know they're missing Calvin Phillips, who I've got to say is a massive miss. But this is what they were doing. They were going long. It was very obvious to me that this is what the plan is, because when you look at the forwards, they're not even looking to come forward. No, the midfield players are not looking to receive, and the defender, to be honest, is just looking to go long. And I was thinking it was very surprising.
Normally you get one go long, one go short.
Absolutely. And it was again. I thought it was a great chance. It was one of those where Patrick really swung his foot in, where he just needed a little cushion. And you look at the forwards, no one's coming towards it. It's very easy for Brighton because, like I say, Duncan, Webster, I've got to mention as well, but they all had fantastic games. Watch the 3 forwards.
3 going the same way.
Unusual. It was, and to be honest, it was easy for Brighton in the end. You can't take anything away from Brighton. I think they've done their homework. It was in the end, it was easy. I thought that this was a very good chance for Patrick Bamford. It's not a bad cross. 2 forwards going in. He's got to hang out. He's seeing the guy going into the near post. He should hang out and do the penalty score on this one as well. I think he's got to get that header on target at least. And it was that kind of day for Leeds.
Certainly was. When told about the clamp down on goal celebration, Sean Dyche joked his side needed to start scoring first. They've got just 9 this season, but they had beaten West Ham in their 3 previous meetings at the London Stadium. Jonathan Pearce.
The club in Europe's leading 6 top divisions has scored fewer goals than Burnley this season. Their task not helped with West Ham's Lucas Fabianski back and fit in goal after missing 2 games with a thigh strain to replace Darren Randolph. And Mikel Antonio in his 400th career game, starting the league for the first time since November, now that Haller has gone to Ajax. They're looking to win their only 3 matches of a calendar year, really the second time in 28 years. Burnley unchanged from their home defeat by Manchester United on Tuesday. Nick Pope making his 100th appearance. Chris Wood has 16 goals in 6 games against West Ham. They're looking for a 4th top-flight win in a row in London for the first time ever. Burnley won just one of their last 8 away league games, and they failed to score in 5 of their last 6 on the road. These are away very well by Brownhill. A decent effort. In from the right hand side by Goodmanson. Match it since the August of 2019. Clearance away by Dawson. Had space as well. To the left foot straight though. By Wayner at the back for West Ham United. He's isolating at the moment. Here. We'll get a decent cross into the box for Antonio. By 3 Burnley defenders, so that will not be played. Antonio scores. To social isolate, be careful in goal celebrations. A bit of backstep from Antonio. Backward step from Burnley. In the opening 10 minutes. Tarkovsky in the middle. Just Burnley and Antonio tucks it in. 400 again. What a way to celebrate it. One tag, never will do. Just to see if the new owners give him proper finance to strengthen the side. The biggest is looking near pass one. Oh, sorry, they break down the left hand side by Wood and has to go up at the combination of a move, of course, these days. Good link up. Brady plays it forward. He's offside. Bonner caught him with the trap. Got away though. Good cross into the middle. And it went very awkwardly off Cresswell. It would have been a cracking own goal as he was under pressure from Goodmanson. They need a person here. Else. The player beats him. He's Bowen. It's deflected away. Good block by Peter Scott. Towards the near post, flicked on towards the far, and Powell's coming in. Perilously close to a second. Nappled the frame of the goal. Pressure still on. Lovely crossfield ball. Finds Bowen. Antonio's up at the far post. Thomas missed it. Then it's gone wide. Causing all sorts of problems from set pieces. He hits the post under pressure from Ben Mead. It's just enough. That's a big chance for West Ham. West Ham in that area for Burnley. Reasonably profitably. By Brady, another shot just creeps right for Chriswood. Probably their best chance of the game. Antonio dropping into space to pick up the ball. And for now, Burnley dropping deep to the edge of their own penalty area to defend there. Rama. Well done, Rama. So far with a cross. Only with a head off the line by Ben Mee. Almost happened in slow motion there. He had to be well positioned to get it away. Deny Antonio his second goal of the game. Beyond Burton. Away. Came here to Antonio on the turn.
Oh!
Feet were taken right on the edge of the penalty area by Tarkovsky. Good close skills here by Antonio, turning one way, then checking back the other. Just inside the box. Goes for goal. Wickedly through the East London air. Well, whoosh. So close. They are warming up their substitutes. Well, against the January chip. Yansky there under pressure from Ashley Barnes, got it away, was caught. The ball was there to be won. Yansky turned out off the back foot to give himself a yard of space, but that took time, and in came Barnes with a rattling challenge. Side netting. The chances come for West Ham United and gone. Only these opportunities
may come back to bite them. Get the crossing. Yes, they can. Really. Put out in the end. Early here. Good pressure. With the meat, the far post. He's never gone in the stretching. Yatsky had the near post guarded. It went wide. And they ensured they kept in the game. Trailing to the early goal by Antonio. They're still in it though. Substitute. What it caused problems there. Maybe Yatsky did it just flip onto the woodblock. That's bending wide. So close to an equaliser. No one says he came on at half time. The cross is bending and bending and bending. Just against the face of the bar, I think. Yatsky was beaten, nearly dipped in. Oh, something on it, deflected off Rodriguez in the end. Close, not close enough. Many moments to threaten West Ham United. That was one. Plenty of evidence today. They've scored just 9 Premier League goals. Here's Yarmolenko, away from me, and that's in with the shot. Just over the bar. It's West Ham United look to seal the deal. The one goal from Antonio, enough to beat Burnley, and it's now 380 minutes for West Ham without conceding a goal. Their good run continues for Burnley. They have concerns.
Never been easy for us in seasons and games, and not for me. I think we're about good clean sheet, good performance. We started well, but we didn't quite keep it going. But then a couple of centre halves made sure I kept it close.
What is it about that final third offensively that's missing at this moment in time beyond the obvious goals?
Sometimes if you strikers, I wasn't one, but I used to mark them. And if they're having a tough spell, they don't get into the areas they need to score goals. Sometimes it sounds strange, but you can overthink it. Strikers think I've got to run there and got to run here, etc., etc. When actually the freedom of being a striker, when you're really on it, you just see the picture very quickly, and it comes with confidence. Sometimes that just turns from getting a lucky one or a simple one, and then all of a sudden it flows again.
How important is it to have a goal scorer who will gamble on a defender's mistake?
Well, I think all good centre forwards will probably get 6 or 7 of those goals a season when they don't normally get rewards. But Mickey get in on it. It was enough to win it. I think this game was always going to be a game which looked quite tight for many reasons, and that's the way it ended up.
Yeah, we thought so too. But an excellent 3 points for West Ham, and you felt that Moyes edged it.
I thought he got it on. He knows that obviously, Wood and Barnes can pose a threat in the air, but I thought O'Connor was solid when he needs to be. Look, I take control of this situation. He knows exactly where Wood wants to go, but it gets his body away. Also, the relationship between Souček, Dawson, and O'Connor as well was really good. Souček's understanding of when he needs to be on the striker's toes. I mean, Barnes and Wood had one shot between them. That shows how much control, especially that kind of triangle that was highlighted they had in this game.
There's another game.
Barnes here wants to knock this one down to Chris Wood. Is he there for it? No, because Souček's cleaning up. He's leading the situation ahead of him. I just felt that in the second half in particular, Burnley may have came on strong. He had 16 crosses in the game. Not at any stages I feel like they were going to score. Watching the game, I thought they could have had 45 crosses. The positioning of
Thursday we go to bed. Did you let me wake up? Because I'm dreaming, yeah?
The savvy nature. Look at this one.
Like that.
Dive all over the place, gets right into the right position, and deals with it really well. And even when you're changing and the got body.
Me?
Was never
I cannot move.
Right, no time for you. Sorry, but thank you anyway. Before we go, let's have a look at the Premier League table.
Leicester City have moved up to second ahead of Liverpool to take on leaders Manchester United later this weekend. Wins for Chelsea and West Ham have pushed them both up the table with just 4 points separating third to ninth. There's no change to the order of the bottom three, but West Brom's derby win means they're now just a point behind Fulham. Brighton's victory moves them above Burnley into 16th. Before we go, let's have a quick look at the Sunday papers, most of which splash on the big clash between Liverpool and Manchester United. The Sun reckons United's Harry Maguire's been trying to wind up the Reds. Sunday Mirror says even United legend Sir Alex Ferguson is in awe of Jurgen Klopp. But Klopp isn't quite so keen on United, according to the Sunday. So no hugging, no kissing, but there'll be some boing boing tonight in the Black Country. Bye.
Bobby's home.
Where's my thing on?
Oh, go there. Oh. Oh, from what?